What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 23, the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they defeats the Tampa Bay Lightning here tonight, 5-3, and what ended up being an unnecessarily sweaty one. Like, we go into this one, slow start in the first period, you get up 1-0, you're like, okay, we are up here. We are taking it step by step to get this thing back in the right direction here against Tampa after what was a sleepy opening first period. And then all of a sudden, things start picking up in the second. 3 goals for this Maple Leafs team gets you up 4-0, and we're sitting here going, this is going to be a whomping. I think that's what Nick calls it, a whomping. A shit kicking, a pummeling, I don't know, whatever adjective you'd like to use. That's pretty much the direction that we were headed. And I was sitting there watching the game thinking, wow, we're going to have another runaway game against the Tampa Bay Lightning that we're going to go on the post game and we're going to go nuts over how dominant this Leafs team is and how they figured all these things out and how they get these big spotlights and they're able to take it to them. Now, obviously, they're able to close this one out here tonight. We'll get to that as we go throughout the course of the show here tonight. We answer questions from the chat, see what you guys have to say about this game here tonight. But I was so convinced that this was going to be just a dominant closeout win, and then it gets tight at the end. It gets tight. Now, you have to hand it to the Tampa Bay Lightning because you know that they're not going to give up. You know that they're going to continue to fight and they're going to push back. So that was expected. And you were able to, at least to a degree, weather the storm and not allow them all the way back like typical Leafs fashion. But you did so also with a little bit of a buffer period that you were able to give yourself there as well, which is also a nice thing to have, a nice addition to tonight's game, which in years past, it feels like, hey, maybe it wasn't 4-0, it was 3. And then that Tampa lead creeps up. And then all of a sudden we're sitting there, we're sitting on our hands, we're sweating a little bit, we're getting nervous, biting our nails because this thing is going in the wrong direction. Thankfully, the Maple Leafs don't do that here tonight. We'll dive into more of that. We'll dive into the rest of tonight's topics. We'll get more into what the heck went on with this team. Joseph Woll, the way he played, some of the officiating that I have an issue with here tonight. We'll dig into all of that as a presentation of Bet365. Proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account, Bet365 today, and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure to head on over to Bet365. Click the link in the description there. Code NATION, all caps, N-A-T-I-O-N. But yes, we will continue to dig into much more of that, answer questions from the chat, see what you guys have to say. I want this poll up there throughout the entire course of the show tonight. I put it up before I got on. I see you guys here talking about the game, what your thoughts were, how you guys are feeling. But there's kind of one thing that I want to see how you feel was the theme of tonight's game, because as we go on, there's a couple of players I was looking at and saying, hey, that guy played unreal tonight. That guy had a great game. And I think some of them have been continuous, but I want to know who your MVP is. I put a poll up in the chat. Who is your MVP tonight? I put 3 options of players and then other. So Marner, Tavares, Joe Woll. Other was in there as well. If you guys think your MVP was someone else, send it in the chat. I want to know who and why. Marner and Tavares very far behind in the poll right now. 70% of voters have picked Joe Woll as their MVP for Game 23. So I think probably the direction I'm leading here as well, but there's a lot of other stuff. Tanev on the poll. Yeah, I probably could have put Tanev on there as well. I just kind of, it was in my head about JT, the goal, the flashbacks to overtime against the Lightning a couple of years ago. That was in there. Then it was like Marner setting up some of these plays, winning the battle, the pass to Tanev, some of the situations that he was getting himself in offensively that were creating opportunities for guys. Fair enough. Tanev being on there, maybe that's other for right now. 16% we're currently sitting at other, and it's still there right now. Make sure to hit that like button while you're at it. We'll answer all your super chats, any of the questions you guys have for super chats. I'll make sure to bring them up during the course of the show here today as well. 50 likes, every 50 likes, 50, 100, 150, we will do the smelling salts. I've got the bottle right here. We will bring them out on the stream. We'll go with just a couple of whiffs. It gets us going. It's a Saturday night. It's the after dark show. People get a little sleepy. You know, maybe you're getting ready to go to the bar. The game just finished up. You're sitting on your couch and you're thinking, should I go out? Should I not? Do I want to see some people? Do I want to stand? Do I want to sit? What do I want to do here tonight? Take a little whiff of the smelling salts. Next thing you know, you're out the door. You're having yourself a good time here tonight. You are rocking, but that's following the post-game stream. Let's get to a couple of things in the chat here. First and foremost, Super Chat. Seo Sangnam, I think I say it wrong every time. I apologize every time. I'll continue to do that, but you keep sending those Super Chats. We appreciate it. One of the loyal viewers here of the show and participators in the chat, Seo says, I'm not one of those people that believe in league conspiracies against the Leafs, but tonight wasn't the first time this year where ref calls left me shaking my head and wondering what the is happening. You know what? I'm in the same boat. I don't think that this was a ref game necessarily, like an overly done ref game. There was a couple of instances I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Whatever. Those happen, I feel like, every night at this point. The one that was mind-blowing to me, the one penalty call that I sat there and genuinely was it's rare, I think, even when I'm watching Leafs games, frustrated, excited, that I'm yelling at this, being like, what the was that? I don't think that happens for me far too much. I do get a little bit animated, but I'm more so trying to dial in on everything that's happening. That penalty call on Oliver Ekman-Larsson at the end, I mean, I'll just say it. What the fuck was that? Like, what are we doing? There is a net front battle. You're in the National Hockey League. These are grown men going toe-to-toe battling in front of the net. There is a little bit of hacking and whacking. I have zero issue with what the Lightning are doing there. No problem. Like, I'm not mad at them at all. I don't think that there should have been a penalty there. Ekman-Larsson is in there, net front, turns, gives a little whack, not even a whack, like a little cross check kind of, but not even hard, like just a little, how you feeling? And the ref's hand could not have gone up quicker. I swear. Ekman-Larsson turns around, looks at the guy, hits him, boom, arms up. Like, what are we doing? And then at that point, I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? Maybe, and again, I don't think Tampa should have got a penalty here, but Cirelli comes in after and cross-checks him. I'm thinking like, okay, maybe the ref's like, you know what? This is a couple goal lead late in the third period. We don't want this thing to get out of hand. We don't want these scrums and we don't want fights. We don't want that. We don't need that here, especially not in this situation. And he's throwing OEL to the box for that. Like, I thought this is like, okay, we'll both go. Let's get out of here. Cut the shit. No more pushing. No more fighting like that. Like, hey, we don't need it. Let's get out. And I would have been fine with that. Again, don't think Tampa deserved a penalty at all. But are you kidding me calling that thing on Ekman-Larsson there in that position? What a joke of a call. This goes right back to the shit where it's like, it's not even about that call. For me, and I know people come here and there's going to be non-Leafs fans who see this stuff and are like, oh, Homer. Fair enough. You make your comments. I genuinely believe this across the board in every game. What the hell is going on with the officiating? Like, that cross-check could have happened 5 minutes earlier, and it's not a call. That cross-check can happen in the game I'm going to watch later tonight with the Avalanche and the Oilers, and it's not a call. And then it'll happen tomorrow when I'm watching tomorrow night's afternoon game, and it will be a call again. And it's like, one ref will call it one way one night, one ref will call it differently another night, and then one ref will call it one way that night, and that same ref will call it differently the next. Like, there's no consistency. There's no understanding of what is and isn't a penalty. And those are the kinds of moments that I feel personally where it's like, it's confusing as a player in that situation. I want to kind of expand on this because what I think is you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. In years past, we watched the Leafs and it's like, hey, Nobody on this team goes in there and gets in the rough stuff. Nobody sticks up for guys. Scrums happen at the end of the game, and these guys have zero interest. And then we get mad, and we're like, what the hell are they doing? This is a soft team. But then you see that there tonight, OEL gets that penalty. If this thing goes the wrong way and Tampa ties this up, we're going to have people coming here to the show after and understandably being frustrated, but being like, what is OEL doing? Stupid penalty. He shouldn't have done that. Otherwise, this is effectively going to get swept under the rug and we're not going to talk about it too much, which I think is probably the best way to go about it. But that penalty to me is just really confusing and sums up my overall kind of standpoint and view of the current situation and landscape and officiating right now. I can't grab, like, I played hockey for a long time. I watch an outrageous amount of hockey. I'm very much, especially now, involved in watching and being part of conversations that are going on. And I get you guys, smart people in this chat, most of the time. You know what you're talking about. Every now and then I read something, I'm like, well, what are you guys saying? But you know it. You guys are smart in the chat. You guys come here, you're telling me, like, what was that? And it's like, we as fans, smart, educated hockey fans, cannot wrap our heads around these calls every now and then. And it's just like, I don't know. That's where my issue becomes with these guys is just, if I watch a game tonight, that same thing happens and it's not, and then I watch it tomorrow and it is. And I don't care who the team is, really. I mean, I know a lot of people won't believe me, and I wish that wasn't the case, but I wish that we could just get to a point where there was a level of consistency so we know at least, like, hey, this is and this isn't a penalty, and we can start to narrow things down. Last thing, old man, if we were discussing penalties, what is goaltender interference? Can anyone explain that? I don't know, personally, right now, what the hell goalie interference is for the most part, unless it's like blatantly obvious where a goalie gets smoked. Then otherwise it's not in a state right now where I could tell you black or white. Yeah, that's goalie interference or that's not. I know who does have opinions on goalie interference. And you're going to want to tune in because if you enjoy hockey, you enjoy the Leafs, and you want to know more about what's going on in the league, or you enjoy media personalities giving you opinions, breakdowns on everything happening around the NHL at any given moment, incredible guests, we have exciting news. Mark your calendars, set your alarms, and clear your schedule because the sheet with Jeff Merrick is coming your way. Starting December 2nd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, he's going live on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Whether you're glued to the NHL, keeping tabs on the PWHL, or tracking the next wave of talent in junior hockey, the sheet has you covered. Jeff will be diving into the biggest storylines shaping hockey today, news, rumors, emerging trends, and insights from every corner of the rink. He's got a lineup of incredible guest hosts and interviews that bring unique perspectives from all corners of the hockey world. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter earlier today, Jeff tweeted out Jay Woodcroft joining him on Monday during the first ever The Sheet Show. The Sheet Show. Don't say that one fast. But Jay Woodcroft, Monday, will be joining from seasoned executives, top journalists, and Olympic champions. The Sheet is your destination for in-depth conversations with the people shaping the game. So check out The Sheet starting December 2nd on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel and follow at The Sheet Hockey on all your favorite social media platforms so you don't miss a second. Make sure to check that out. And I know for a fact, Jeff is very intrigued with goalie interference and some of the rulings, why things are being challenged, why things are not. A little inside information there about what could potentially be coming up on the show on Monday. So make sure to check that out. Subscribe to the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel. For those of you watching right now, make sure to keep hitting that like button. Subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401, right here on YouTube. Live post games, Leafs Nation After Dark, every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Leafs Morning Take, Nick, Rosie, and I saw a special edition the other day, Rosie and Hutz in person. I don't know if you guys caught that on Friday, the players only edition. I caught a bit of it. I had to duck out, was busy with some work stuff, started watching back the rest. Get a load of Rosie's setup in that one. Pretty good stuff there from Rosie. But more things to get to here on the show tonight, including some more super chats. So let's get to our next super chat. Jeff McKay, appreciate you as always, Jeff. Jeff says, speaking a little too quick there for myself. Good game till the last 10 minutes. Wish we had shown up for the game against Florida. Oh well, let's keep it going Monday. A couple things on this one here, Jeff. So first of all, yes, first couple minutes, slow. I'm sitting there going, oh no. We could be in for... I thought we were in for a shit show as Leafs fans and this Leafs team. I thought that this could have been a nightmare. I don't know about you guys. Like, it just had those vibes, like the sleepy vibes from this Leafs team where it's like, you just had one not good game. And again, Rosie and I broke that one down again after the game on Wednesday where it was like, okay... things didn't go your way score-wise, but I think system was there, process was there. You just didn't have the talent to go toe-to-toe with the Panthers, and sometimes that's the case. Like, we don't need to be overly frustrated with the result because, you know, you're missing a lot of bodies. You've been doing it that was the 9th game without Austin Matthews, 2nd game without Nyes. You lost McMahon, like, you missed a bunch of guys. At some point, it's going to catch up to you, and it's just going to start to roll over and hit. That happened to be the one against Florida. So what Jeff's saying there of I wish they showed up for the game against Florida. I kind of understand what you're saying, but I also kind of disagree because I don't think that they just like didn't show up effort wise. Like it was there. They just didn't have the talent to go head to head with them. So happens. Tonight though, I thought there was going to be a whomping. Honestly, I thought Tampa was going to run them out of the building. We were going to be sitting there having conversations tonight, having conversations on Leafs Morning Take on Monday, maybe listening to Jeff on the sheet at 3 p.m. Eastern time over on Daily Faceoff, talking about what the hell was that? Is something wrong with the Maple Leafs? Is something wrong with this team when Austin Matthews plays in the lineup? And ultimately, they kind of fix that about halfway through the first or kind of maybe towards like 7-8 minutes into the first. And then all of a sudden we're picking up steam and we're rocking. Second period, all Leafs all day. Just take it to the Lightning. Third period, I'm feeling good. And then you know some push is coming. Like you know at that point there's going to be a pushback from the Lightning. This is not a give up team. Right? We even talked about it in the game where they played against the Lightning earlier on the Amazon Prime night. It was, yeah, we dominated them, but they didn't give up. And Toronto just found a way to snuff them out. It was whether they were pushing back physically, they were trying to get in, stir some stuff, they were creating offense there in the Tampa end. Like, there was a lot going on for Tampa Bay in that game where they just didn't give up. You knew it was coming here tonight, especially with the Leafs in town. Coop making comments, you know, he knows what he's doing. Smart guy there when he goes out and speaks to the media as well. But I'm like, okay, when the Leafs are holding it off, and all of a sudden, bang, there it was. A massive push from the Lightning that I was like, uh-oh, we got a problem on our hands. Now, where I was going, I talked about it a little bit off the top in the opening, and where I'm going to a little bit on this one a little bit more is, I know it was a 4-goal lead. I know it was big, but to still hold on the road in a game where we all think the Leafs are going to blow that one once that starts happening, I was at least happy with walking away, still winning by 2 as well. 4-3, I'm clenched, I'm sweating, I'm sending panic texts. Are we going to have a terrible, crazy post game? Is this a blown lead? Or is the chat freaking out? I'm looking, trying to see what you guys are saying in the YouTube chat. They hold on. 4-3, and then finally the first line comes out, is able to score that goal. Willie Nye, full ice sauce to the empty net to close it out. Kind of looked like me in men's league the other day. Don't worry about it. That's what you got to do sometimes. bury that one, close things out, and say enough's enough. Let's get out of here tonight. It's like Nick in men's league as well. But thank God they were able to close that one out. I saw a comment here earlier. I think it was along the lines of, how buckled is Nick right now? 10 out of 10. You guys in the chat, send me what you think. Scale of 1 to 10. How buckled Nick is. 1 to 10. 10 being the most. 1 being not at all. He was at the game in the lower bowl there, celebrating tonight's victory, getting to watch Nicky Bobby in person. 1 to 10. How buckled is Nick? I want to know. Send your numbers in the chat. On the topic of Nicky Bobby there. Nicky Bobby, watching Nick Robertson. Oh, you get it. I saw a comment. I hope he was kidding. AK, Robertson, 5x5 and a no move. Do it now. Tree. None of that. Let's pump the brakes. I'm excited that the kid got on the board here tonight. And not only did he get on the board, that was a beautiful goal. That was a beautiful goal by Robertson. That goal is everything we have had him hyped up to be, right? That is the speed down the wall, his sticks on the outside. Andre Vasilevsky cuts across, goes to take off the short side, and he goes absolute tit on Vasilevsky. Sneaks that one in up right under the bar past Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky's still hearing that thing whistle by his ear right now. His ear's still ringing throughout the rest of the game because of that one. Flies by him, picks the corner, and lets out a celebration. AK was kidding, thank God. It lets out a celebration that was, you would have thought that was like a playoff winning goal. But that being said, I think we can understand the sense of relief from Nick Robertson in that moment. This is a guy who had not got, let's put this in the right context, had not got the opportunities that he felt he deserved under Sheldon Keefe. Thinks he's a top 6 player, thinks he's a guy who can produce and score goals, and he's an offensive guy he can generate. He should be playing with the Matthews and Tavares and Nylander and Marner, etc. Sheldon Keefe didn't trust him. Didn't like him defensively. He was never able to sustain any firepower when he came up previously. His time in Toronto looked like it was rapidly coming to an end. He requests a trade in the summer. They try to find something. They do their due diligence. They check around. They're firing up the old GM text chain saying, hey, who wants this kid? And Tree Living's not finding any viable suitors. Anything that is worthwhile for him to say, I got to trade this kid because this deal is jumping at me. This deal is something I need right now. Trade doesn't happen. He goes into preseason, lights it up. Struggles to score for the first, 19 games that he had played. He had 1 goal. 6 1/3 says it's the Nick Robertson show again, Zack. Come on. We got to address things that happen. Nick Robertson gets on the board with an incredible goal. It's got to be addressed. We're talking about the sense of relief the kid must have felt scoring that goal and seeing it go into the back of the net after what's been a tough start for him. He's trying to prove his spot in this lineup. He's not really sticking anywhere. He had missed games by being a healthy scratch. We were seeing a lot of, hey, this guy can't go, this guy can't stay, and getting that goal here tonight potentially puts him in the right direction of, hey, I feel some confidence, the monkey's off the back, I can at least stop gripping the stick so tight. Because as Rosie had pointed out, as I agree with him as well, 100%, the kid gives his all. There's no question about his effort. It's just a matter of production, which is kind of the unfortunate situation. You can look at players in the past and be like, hey, that guy's not going and he's not producing. It's a double whammy. We can't have this, and he's gone. This one here, this guy, he gives it his all. He's just not producing. To score that goal, it was good for the team. Ultimately ends up being fairly important there. Help build the lead. gets you off on the right foot there in the second period. Tanev, Robertson next. Like, okay, now the ball is rolling. We're up 3-0. We're feeling ourselves here. It keeps it going. You're watching nasty goals by Nick Robertson go up over the top corner of over the shoulder of Vasilevsky. Okay, now in the right direction. That was a great goal by him here tonight. We'll see if he's able to continue this on. We'll see if he's able to build off of this and if he can keep this going in the next game here on Monday night, if he can keep it going on Wednesday, how he fits into some of these lines. The other thing that I will say, and it goes into what's going on here tonight, CJ, and the poll already, Jesus. What, we don't like the polls? Like, what's wrong with the poll? We're trying to get your input here on the game tonight. Trying to find out what you guys are thinking, how you're feeling about what we saw out there. Come on, CJ. Vote on the poll. Wall, 72% people saying MVP, 13% other, 8% Marner, 7% Tavares. But Nick Robertson gets that goal. I wonder if at some point we give a try here before McMahon and Pacioretty come back to Robertson on that wing. I like Pontus Holmberg. I don't think he's given us enough this season. I feel like maybe there was a honeymoon phase with Pontus Holmberg where we saw him and it was like, oh, wow, look at this guy. He can play defensive a game of hockey. Maybe he could be the cheaper David Kampf. Maybe we don't need David Kampf. Maybe that's a replaceable piece. Maybe this guy's the next coming. Okay, Connor Dewar's here now. How is this going to fit? He's not done it for me this season. I like the concept of Pontus Holmberg and what he could be and what he had shown us in the past of like the style of hockey he's capable of playing, the brand of hockey that he's capable of playing. It's drastically fallen off here in the last little while. I think, honestly, probably coming out of preseason. And Michael Kirkpatrick there says, Berube seems to like Holmberg. Yeah, I would think so at this point, that he does like Pontus Holmberg and how he plays the game. He's not played very well, and I thought he was the weak link of that second line, which actually was pretty good otherwise with Marner and Tavares here tonight. Like, I got Marner and Tavares in the MVP poll, and I thought they were good. I thought Marner looked good. I thought Tavares looked good, and then every time I would watch, it was Pontus Holmberg, and I just feel like he's a step behind mentally. He's a step behind a little bit physically there. Like, he just cannot keep up with those guys. And when you've got a guy like Mitch who can create plays at the rate that he does, and you have John Tavares who's able to find you in certain positions or who's able to play the game a different way because he doesn't have the quickest feet. He's not the fastest guy in the world. Pontus Holmberg is not the right piece for that line. Bobby McMahon, you could see it in a game like this tonight, why he's so much better in that spot. The speed, the ability to go in straight lines, north, south, the physical brand of hockey, willingness to play defense and block shots, get in the way of things. It's not that Holmberg's not willing to do those. He's really just not that great at them as good as a guy like Bobby McMahon. And Michael Kirkpatrick there again points out Holmberg kind of a Swiss Army type like Kerfoot was. I guess, and maybe that's where the allure of, is that the right word? Allure of Pontus Holmberg comes, where you're like, hey, this guy can be a tool that you put in different spots. He plays wing, he plays center, he can play PK. Like, he's not got very good hands. I don't think he's the fastest, and I don't know right now that his brain is going at the speed it needs to play on a line with Marner and Tavares. I don't think so. And I think that honestly, in a game like tonight, kind of holds back a line, which I thought was really good. Like, we're looking at a 4-0 game where that line actually looks good. I should be careful with saying that line. Like, Marner and Tavares, I thought looked good. I thought Holmberg was the weak link there, and I thought it really showed why you need a guy like Bobby McMahon to play in your top six. McMahon can score, Patrick points out. Agree. Michael Kerfoot drove us all nuts, and maybe comments of the day so far. Salvatore, yes, Holmberg is a tool. Fair enough, Salvatore. That is kind of funny. Mike, Holmberg is going too fast. He's overplaying pucks. Interesting question here, as we are 3 likes away now from the first smelling salts of the stream. You guys gotta, you guys are the ones who like this. Like, I don't know if we need like a bar that can go up on the screen. I wonder if there's a way to do that, to be able to like show that there's a something in the corner, like up here or something, where it's like every 50 it goes up or like fills the bottle of salts. Maybe that's a thing that can happen and it goes up as the likes go up on the stream. That's kind of a cool concept. Let's put that one in the notes. But Ryan Wheatley, dumb question. Does Matthew Nyes become a chess piece come trade deadline? I don't really... I honestly don't know how this ends up being approached at the deadline and who you use. I would much rather not trade Matthew Nyes, but like, if you tell me that there is a guy who could be coming here who is... If you tell me there's a guy who's going to be coming back who's an auto difference maker, and it's like, hey, that's the kind of guy we need here. That's the kind of guy who's going to change the dynamic of this team and what we've got and how these guys play, then sure. Like, why not entertain it? If that's the answer, if that's what has to happen. Because the answer, I see DizK saying the answer is fuck no. AK says hell no. Comatose, no. WTF. John Nice is untouchable. My only pushback on this, guys, is I don't think untouchable is the right word. I'm not trading Nyes 6 1/3. Pump the brakes, relax. The only thing I would say is if you're getting a guy and the offer is blow your socks off, yeah, the guy no longer is untouchable. If you're getting something that you're like, this puts us over the top and helps us win the Stanley Cup, yeah, the guy's not untouchable anymore. That's all I want to say on that. If that comes up, he's not untouchable. He's a difference maker. I agree. But you cannot say untouchable. I don't think that that's right or that's fair. I don't think it happens. I don't think he gets traded. I don't think he should get traded. I'm just answering the question. Guys, stop getting mad at me. I'm not proposing this. I'm answering the question in the chat there. We're not trading him. Not trading him. Relax. Relax. I'm just answering the question. I don't think untouchable is the word you can use. We hit 50 likes here on the stream tonight. Thank you so much to all of you who did. I feel like people are probably at this point going to get mad. But Mike Kahn says, Zach, you're thinking of OnlyFans of the graphs and charts. I'm thinking a bottle of smelling salts in the top corner here that can show you guys how far and how close we are to the bottle filling up to get to the salts. Come on. Super. We got the 50 likes. Thank you guys. Tremendous job here on the stream tonight. I appreciate all of you in the chat. Keep asking your questions. Keep sending your thoughts on tonight's game. Let's get to the... Oh, they just whiffed by right there. Let's get to the smelling salts. Oh. Oh. All right. Ooh. There's the first smelling salts. We get to 100, we'll do them again. Couple of other things that I want to get to, but I saw a bunch of you guys in the chat when I asked you what level out of 10 Nick was on the in-one scale. The most common answer was 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10 on the in-one scale. But no matter how in-one he is, I just hope that he's rocking his new Nation gear, because you guys know Black Friday is here and it's time to score big on Nation gear. Whether you're repping the freshest designs, I can't even speak, or rocking the classics, this is your chance to snag all your favorites for 15% off. Big news, the brand new My City collection has dropped and is part of the sale, along with other fresh gear you don't want to miss. This is your shot to grab the latest styles and classics at unbeatable prices. That's right, the My City collection. You can see them right there. My City collection has dropped. Need the perfect gift for your favorite fan? Nation Gear has you covered. From hoodies to hats, make this holiday season legendary for the hockey lover in your life. It gets better. Spend over $200 and we'll throw in free shipping, but don't wait on the sidelines too long. This deal is only 1 week. 1 week only, ladies and gentlemen. Shop now, only on nationgear.ca. Make sure to head on over there and pick up your My City collection for some top-notch gear. I'm sure Nick is wearing it down there at the game. Whether he's 1 beer, 7 beers, 15 beers, doesn't matter. He's rocking his Nation gear and likely screaming at the top of his lungs for Nick Robertson anytime goals. Screaming at the top of his lungs. Because that's how Nick is. You know it. I'm just going to preemptively get to it. Mario Kart has not asked for it yet, but I know he's going to ask for it at some point here during this show. Zach, show me the deserve to win a meter. Also, quickly, Michael Kirkpatrick, no news on McCabe yet. No, there was news on McCabe. I'm just trying to find this right now. I want to make sure I had it right. Craig Berube doesn't expect Jake McCabe to miss any time. So, there's the update. Deserve to win a meter. This is the Deserve to win a meter brought to you by our friend Mario Kart, as per moneypuck.com. Checking out the Deserve to win a meter for tonight's game. Let's head on over to MoneyPuck and see where we were at. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what it's all about. That way, right? Yeah. That is what it's all about. 77% on the Deserve to win a meter for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And let me just say this. Thank fucking God some of these are going our way now. I'm at the point with the damn Deserve to win a meter where I came on here for so many post-game shows. So many post-game shows. Lost the game by 1, lost the game by 2, won the Deserve to win a meter. Lost the game by 5, won the Deserve to win a meter. Lost in overtime, won the Deserve to win a meter. And people are like, we won the Deserve to win a meter. We won the Deserve to win a meter. And then I'm pulling it up like, look, there's the Deserve to win a meter. We won the Deserve to win a meter. Like, whoop-de-doo. Like, we won the Deserve to win a meter. Guys, at this point, win games and be at 23% on the Deserve to win a meter. Honestly, unprofessional of me, but fuck them. Like, why couldn't we, like, we're finally getting these games, and I would rather be on the other side. I trust me, I do not want this every single time. I don't want this every single game where we come on here like, oh, wow. Deserve to win a meter, 23%, we won the game. Deserve to win a meter, we're getting shit kicked in the Deserve to win a meter, but we won the game. No, like, I don't want that every game. But why not have these every now and then? CJ, bang on. I will take that every day. Lucky to be good, good to be lucky. Right. This 23% and you get a win here against Tampa, I'm taking it, man. Like, I'll take that every single day. Every single day. More questions from you guys in the chat. CJ, I apologize, YouTube glitched and did not show me poll results. I thought you had to end it for me to see them, but I refresh, I take it back, and you hereby go fuck myself. CJ, you know what? That's what it's about there as well. It's about losing Deserve to win a meters and winning games and taking accountability, because that's what this team here is doing now. Players are taking accountability. Craig Berube is taking accountability, and you guys in the chat are falling in line as well and taking accountability yourself. CJ said, hand up, I messed up, the poll is fine. We keep rocking. 61 likes here on the stream. Let's keep it going. 6 1/3. Zack, Leafs lead the league in home wins at 10. What's happening? ... Berube. Honestly, 6 1/3. This is one of those ones I wish I had the answer to this phenomena. I don't. This team does inexplicable things Always. They always have. They always will. I don't expect that to end anytime soon. No matter how good, no matter how bad they are, there's always going to be leafiness that enters and happens with us here where we just have to deal with some nonsense. Whether you were terrible at home last year or you were unbelievable on the power play and you were the worst team on the power play, doesn't matter. This Leafs team is always going to do something on the extreme on either end that we go how and why, and we're going to be like, I can't tell you. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, and this is one of those moments here again tonight. I don't know how to tell you that. Like, the answering your question, I don't know. I do feel like one of the things that's happening here is obviously this is a road game, so it's not necessarily like spot on of what happened and why this happened tonight, but John pointing out 50-50 Brayden goaltending, that's obviously part of the goaltending is a part of it. I mean, you get good goaltending, like you're going to get a good coach. I think the saying is, show me a good coach and I'll show you good goaltending. Find any guy who's going to win the Jack Adams and then tell me what their goalie's like save percentage, GAR, like it's obviously not ever going to be brutal. I think that happened with Connor Hellebuck last year or 2 years ago where he had an outrageous outrageous save percentage, numbers, goals saved above expected, everything was saying Vezina, and then there was like this other corner of the internet that was like Jack Adams, Rick Bonus. It was like, I mean, like, yeah, maybe, but like Hellebuck, Vezina, and I'm not saying Stolars and Waller, Vezina here, but really good goaltending is going to help. Not letting up soft goals to open the game is going to help you in the right direction. It's not auto-deflating. And the other thing that I would kind of give Berube some credit here for, and also the players in the room, because they're either adapting to it or they've made a change themselves or whatever it may be, but they don't seem sleepy to open the game, and we've talked about this numerous times, that the crowd gets a bad rap for being quiet, but how often can we come on the postgame show and say, well, the team didn't give the crowd anything. So they didn't cheer, and the team didn't get energy, but the team didn't have energy and didn't give them anything to cheer for. It's like you're basically, you know, the meme of the guys on the sidewalk who are in the argument where they're both like giving each other the bird and they're both like going like this at each other in the street, and then the other guy turns around and goes like this. They're not doing anything, but they're both fighting and they're just staying quiet, and they're like, it's like the fans to the Leafs and then the Leafs back to the fans when those games happen. And they haven't done that this year. They come out to games ready to go from the jump. They got energy. They're finishing checks. They're getting in there on the forecheck hard. They are winning battles. They are getting in net front scrums. And then the fans who here in Toronto die for blue-collar hockey and blue-collar players and this rough and tumble, finish checks, get in battles hockey, and we have not had it for years. These guys are the horniest we've seen in a long time, 10 years potentially here at this point, because they have what they've been looking for with this combination of superstar players and grit and determination and veteran guys, shot blockers, Chris Tanev, guys who are going to get gritty and finish checks, Simone Benoit, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Like, there are all these different pieces and an electric goaltender in net. And it feeds the fans, and they feed the team, and then the team feeds the fans, and everything just builds and builds and builds, and all of a sudden the building is rocking. And on top of that, the bad rap that we get from the TV production companies who put out those shitty quality mics, as we discovered from Amazon Prime. I don't know, maybe it's just a Canadian problem that we've got these dumpy mics that aren't picking up everything. Because Prime comes in here, they go one game, and all of a sudden we're like, whoa, is that the loudest Scotiabank's ever been? And it's like, coincidence here maybe? Arena sound was pretty nuts. But I think they bounce back and forth. That's why they're so good at home ice, is kind of my prediction of this 6 1/3, my hypothesis, but I have no actual proof behind any of it. None. More stuff from the chat. Let's acknowledge this one here tonight. Where you guys are at on Alex Nylander. Alex Nylander. I don't think he's a bad player, but I feel like maybe he's just in the wrong spot or with the wrong guys. I don't know. I do think he's going to be one of the first guys on the outside looking in when players are returning. The only issue here, Robert saying send him back down. He has to clear waivers. And I'm really curious how that process is going to go when it comes time, or if it comes time to do that. Because I'm certain there's going to be other people who are going to want to take a swing at him and take a shot and see what they can do, if they can bring him in. I think he wants to be in Toronto. And I think his brother wants him here, obviously. The one thing I would say is I think Willie's a pro, and it's not going to affect him mentally, emotionally if that happens, where it's going to hinder his level of play. But it would obviously suck. Think about it. Put yourself in Willie's shoes. If you're here, your brother's here, you guys are living together, and he has to get sent down and someone claims him. It would suck, obviously. Your brother, your best friend is gone because you had to go to a different team. Yeah, that would suck. I wonder how it'll go, because I mean, Matt's saying he will clear. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he would. I think some other teams would probably want to take a shot at him, but I also should dive into a little bit more about Alex's contract status, because I wonder if the Leafs put some booby traps in that thing like they did with Matt Murray not too long ago. Because that would be interesting. They just loaded some shit up so that no one else would take them. That could be a fun little situation for these guys. Let's get to our play of the game here tonight. We will probably go for another... I don't even know. We'll go play of the game. We got to recap our best bet, and then we'll get to our grades. So let's start with our play of the game. Play of the game for me is going to be the Tanev first goal of the season. I know a lot of you guys are going to want it to be Nick Robertson, and I understand why. It was a beautiful goal. But sometimes, which obviously the players never see this, so it's not like it actually matters to them of me rewarding them for anything, but sometimes I think these guys deserve to be rewarded or recognized for some of the stuff that they do to contribute to winning a game. We come on here a lot of times and talk about this Leafs team and Matthews and Nylander being the big pieces, and Marner having a great start and Tavares having a great start. And yet again, I do think that continued. I want to give all the flowers in the world to Marner and Tavares for the way they played tonight. Marner racks up 2 assists here, 4 shots on goal. He plays 21 minutes of ice time, double the ice time on the penalty kill than he did on the power play here as well. But... And I'm going to give an honorable mention, by the way, to Nick Robertson. So don't worry about it. That's going to get recognized here. I'm not saying it didn't matter, but it's the Tanev goal. Chris Tanev racks up block shots. The guy eats minutes. Here tonight, 22 minutes and 38 seconds. That's the most by any defenseman on the Maple Leafs team. That's the second most by any defenseman in the game. The only defenseman who played more minutes was Victor Hedman with 23:32. So you got Tanev at 22:38, and then you get Victor Hedman at just shy of a minute more. And it's like you don't notice him in the best way possible. He basically just shuts everything down. He erases mistakes that happen. He kind of just snuffs out any any net front threats, any issues that go on in your own zone. And he's this quiet, calming presence who does things the right way and plays the game the right way. Finishes tonight's game with 1 block shot somehow. Like, this guy is eating pills for a living and only gets 1 here tonight. But, I mean, seriously, like, he scores his first goal of the season. And shout out to one of my buddies, Colin. He texts me during the game and he goes, I gotta read it. It was funny. Number 8, looking like number 8 on Colorado tonight. I was laughing at that. Like, he scores this goal. I'm sitting here watching with my buddies and I'm like, he's flying. Like, he's flying here now. It's the second goal of the game, makes it a 2-goal lead, kind of gets things going in the second period for the team, heads in the right direction. And on top of that, just to kind of even mention, it comes from a 1 battle along the wall. Mitch Marner gets the puck, comes out with it, and makes a filthy pass to Chris Tanev, who's activating at the same time. Like, that is also an underrated part of that goal, is Chris Tanev having the recognition at that point to activate into the play. Because where he was on the ice at that moment in time, he was not necessarily like in position to be receiving anything. I mean, if I could even get this thing proper here, which hopefully in a second I can, but he is kind of out, not necessarily in a position where he's going to be able to attack the net very easily. And which, here you go, I can now bring this back up onto the board, which I think you guys will enjoy. Tanev, which I will grab of a defenseman here, is back here as Marner is over on the wall on this side. There is a forward for the other team in a spot here. There is a forward kind of over here. There's guys in the wall on the in a battle along the wall. Then you obviously have the left defenseman who's more over here in that position. As soon as Marner gets the puck over here on the wall and he comes out with that thing freely, Chris Tanev, if he stands where he's standing right here on this blue line, he's not getting this puck. Marner is never going to feed him. Instead, Tanev starts to drive down. Marner is able to find him coming across here and hits him with the pass. Obviously, it's a little bit more outside. I'm just showing you the idea of this. He was a little bit more over here. But the idea, the concept of what happened, he activates in, which allows Marner to make that pass. He never activates. That thing's not coming across. It's a smart offensive play from a guy who's not known for anything offensively. And it's like that thing leads off the second period with a nice shot on goal that ultimately beats Vasilevsky and gets the ball rolling for things to open up in the second period. AK, I think other guys are blocking shots now because of Tanev. I would not be surprised if that's the case, if that's what it is. You see a guy doing what he does and putting his body on the line to make things happen, to make plays happen, you're going to get a little fired up because of it, and you're going to start to rock and say, hey, I got to do that. I got to buy in. I think he's been an incredible player, and I was just happy to see him get on the board for it. Honorable mention, obviously, Nick Robertson. We talked about his goal earlier in the game. As well, another honorable mention here tonight. I want to give an honorable mention to John Tavares' goal. It was a nice goal, but it's Marner who tries to take the shot through while JT is fighting for net front positioning, which kudos to him, not something he necessarily does frequently. Marner fires that thing through as he's net front. It hits him in the pants, and he's able to turn around and fire it off his backhand. But I was trying actively after that goal happened to find the picture of it because I wanted to tweet it out, and I unfortunately couldn't find it. That goal gave me flashbacks for Johnny T's OT goal against Tampa. The spot on the ice, the back to the net, the turn and shot, obviously the OT goal, he turns and fires it forehand. That goal there, he turns and fires it backhand. But I saw it and it was like, all of a sudden in my head, I'm like, oh my God, this is the OT again. That's the same goal, like the same spot on the ice, the same positioning, the way Tampa's looking up, the camera cuts to the guys on the ice. I'm like, we just ran it back of the same scenario. But it also just goes to how unbelievable Tavares has been this season, his level of play, how much he's elevated with the absence of Austin Matthews and filled in this role of being a little bit more of a role player when he is here, figuring out how to be a guy who can kind of step up and say, hey, we're gonna go, figuring out other ways to impact the game without having to be the number one guy. He's been awesome this season. Like, he's been so good here to start this year, and I could not be more thankful for the level that he's playing at right now. Because if it wasn't for him doing that and stepping up that way, things could be very poor. Things could be in a very different spot. He's been awesome, but that goal, it gave me a little bit of a flashback to, oh my God, that was the playoffs. That was the game-winning overtime goal all over again. Speaking of things that are giving me flashbacks here is flashbacks to saying, hey, this is the best opportunity we have to bet on an Austin Matthews anytime goal and it going in the wrong direction. And obviously I did that on the Leafs Nation pregame show, which you can find, and hopefully you like that video as you're liking the stream here tonight. We're not far off from our second smelling salts of the night, but make sure to hit the like button. The Austin Matthews anytime goal that was given out over on Bet365 in the Leafs Nation pregame. This Best Bet segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account with Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets, so whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Remember, use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N when you sign up. Tonight's best bet was Austin Matthews anytime goal scorer plus 120. We lose a full unit on that one. We went a full unit, $100. That brings us to our season total, a profit of $22 so far still this season that we walk away with in our pockets. But it's an unfortunate one because it's one I wanted. Like, Austin Matthews returns, he's fired up, we're thinking, hey, we're going to get a night from the guy, he's going to be go, he's back with Nylander and Matthew Knies, like, this is going to be a good line, and ultimately, we don't get the, I don't want to say the firepower because Matthews gets a couple of shots on goal. Nylander gets 4. Knies ends up with a goal and 2 shots on goal. So that line walks away from tonight. +2 for Knies, +2 for Matthews, +2 for Nylander, which I will briefly speak on that line. But I thought that group together was going to be creating at an unbelievable rate, which, again, I do actually think they were. If you guys disagree with me, then that's fine. I don't mean unbelievable rate. I don't think that's fair. I think that they were creating some dangerous chances, and they were in the offensive zone, moving the puck around pretty well. There was some slick puck movement, some attacking in the net. William Nylander finishes with .66 expected goals on the night there as well. But I thought it was a good bet. The other thing that I will say that I can honestly, like, almost guarantee you, which is part of why I wanted to jump all over this bet and give it out, and I thought you guys would have had a good bet here tonight if you had this one in your pockets, in your slip watching this game, would also be the fact that we're not going to see plus money like that on Austin Matthews, I don't really think, over the next little while. He's behind in goals in the race. He's not had the craziest, hottest start scoring. He's typically priced as like minus money. Like, this guy's basically Christian McCaffrey of touchdowns, but for goal scoring in the NHL, like, it's like favored to score every night. I mean, I'm going to take that number every time. I apologize for this one not hitting. It doesn't. It gets us in a spot where we're just above 0 here now. But I think that that's a bet you make over and over again, and you'll be in the right position. You're going to end up on the right side of things, and I wish it went better for us. Unfortunately, it doesn't. One thing I want to say about that line, I think they were fun to watch. Knies is an absolute workhorse. My prediction from the pregame, I think, ended up being true here, is that nothing was going to stop him from playing his style of hockey and the way the game is supposed to be played, especially when you are a big power forward like that. I thought he was awesome. Nylander was buzzing here again tonight. I think that was his 15th goal of the season. He scores there, full ice, like, or not full ice, like three-quarter ice, basically two-thirds maybe. Empty netter where he fires that one over everybody's heads into the net. I thought Willie was great here tonight. I thought Matthews looked pretty good. And the other note I want to make on Matthews, he did not look afraid physically. He was engaging in battles below the net. He was engaging in battles in front of the net. And those are all positive signs to me, to suggest, hey, he's not going to be held back or restricted here in any stretch of the imagination. Let's get to our final thing of the game here tonight. Let's get to our grades of the game. If you guys have yours, send them here. I want to know what you guys are thinking about this one, how you feel. I was very close to a much higher grade. I think I ultimately end up here tonight at a B. You were close to like an A minus, but then ending up 5-3, them coming back. Now, I do think that was a pretty garbage call, but you were also 0 for 1 on the power play. It's like, whatever. You had one shot, you didn't score. Whoop-de-doo. Like, you're not going to score on every single power play. That one I can give it a wash. You were 2 for 3 on the penalty kill. The one goal that gets scored is the late one. It's kind of in an important time, so that does stink a little bit. But you get some good contribution from some depth guys and filling in some of the roles. Matthews comes back. I didn't think he was like a focal point of this team where it was like force, get him the puck. Wall ends up with a .927 save percentage, makes 41 or faces 41 shots, makes 38 saves here tonight. Andrei Vasilevsky on the other end. Like, you found ways to beat this guy. He is not invincible here, and it kind of makes you feel much better, I think, as a Leafs fan here now, to at least see that and be like, you know what? We might be okay, because we can solve some of these unbelievable goalies. We're not getting goalied anymore by guys like Vejmelka and the Utah Hockey Club. And when we go against Vasilevsky, we're not facing the same struggles. So those things start to make you feel a little bit better as a fan, knowing, hey, you know what? We can get back in the right... we can get things rocking, and we can be a solid team that can compete with basically anyone here. So I'm pretty happy with the game, but not so happy with the ending and not so happy with the first 5 minutes. Rosie said it though, you go into a game like this and it's the sun, you're near the beach. It's a weird thing mentally, but you had a stinker of a game the other day against the Florida Panthers, and you didn't let it define the trip. Found a way to get a win here tonight. Good for this team. I thought that was a good game. A decent game, not the greatest finish. It is what it is. Ryan Wheatley, what happened to McCabe? It looks like he took a puck to the back of the head under the helmet. Craig Berube said he did not. Craig Berube says he does not expect him to be out for a extended period of time. That's going to do it for me here. You guys remember our friend Jason, he filled in for one of the shows. He's in the chat there. He's buzzing along. We'll be meeting up with Jason later tonight, talking about some Leafs, what happened here tonight, talking about what will happen on Monday against Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks and Amazon Prime. I'll be back for another pregame show. And Jeff Merrick, his first show, part of the Nation Network on the Sheets. Check that out over on the Daily Faceoff, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to head on over there, guys. Hockey talk, breaking things down. What happened? How is the league looking? What happened with Stamkos and the Predators the other day? The trades that went on. This game here tonight, officiating league-wide. It'll all be happening over on the Sheet, and his first guest, Jay Woodcroft. So Monday, the Daily Faceoff, the Sheet debuts, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in here tonight. As always, I appreciate you in the chat. I appreciate those of you who super chatted. I appreciate all of you guys for participating and answering the poll, which, by the way, does finish at 71%. Joseph Wall, the MVP of the night here tonight. I don't think we can disagree with that. There's not too much to say about the guy other than he was a stud. Game 23 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning here in what was an unnecessarily close and hairy one, 5-3, moving to 14-7-2 on the season. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you guys back here on Monday for another edition of the Leafs Nation pregame show. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.